All right, welcome in. It is Thursday Night Thoughts. We'll talk a couple of Sunday games as well. Got Zargo with me. It's Kush and Steve Makinen from VSIN is joining us. Good to see you, Steve. How you been, man? I appreciate having you on the show today.
I've been pretty good. I'm glad to join you today.
You're a Wisconsin. You're up in Wisconsin. You're telling me. So we got a little Packers Lions tonight in Detroit. I know you got some breakdown about this. So let's just dive right into this. With the line still sitting about 3.5, Steve, 3.5, 3 you can find out there. What do you make of the side this evening?
You know, quite an intriguing Thursday night game that Al and Kirk got tonight. So there should be a good one. Now, when I look at this side, I'm a little scared that this line is dropped to where it is. You know, you got 11-1 team here sitting playing on its home field. They've been very good at home. This is a team that scores a lot of points typically on its home field. I know they didn't come to play in the second half against Chicago here, and they got some defensive problems here. But I'm not real comfortable with the way this line is dipped down to the point where we're looking at only a field goal.
Why do you think it moved? I mean, just people are the sharps are on the Packers. They think they can cover this thing, maybe win outright.
Well, the most public storyline this week has obviously been all the missing pieces from the Detroit defense, and that's going to be a problem for Detroit. Let's face it. It actually lends a lot to the play I've actually set myself up for this game. Detroit has a lot to deal with on the defensive side of the ball. Green Bay is heating up offensively. I think that's an intriguing matchup for this game.
Zargo, you got anything, or is the dog going bananas, buddy? You gonna be okay?
No, we're good. We're good. So I was curious. I mean, obviously, like you said, the big story is the defensive backs that are out. Detroit's always struggled more so to cover the pass game than the run game. But do you think that opens things up for Jones, or do you expect Jordan Love to be slinging it tonight?
You know, the interesting thing that happened last year when these two teams played in that second game in Detroit, that was a Thanksgiving game. That was just when Jordan Love was starting to sort of heat up. That second half of the season surge he made, I think he's gotten going a little bit earlier this season, maybe 2 to 3 games earlier. So he's coming in here sort of hot at this point. They're also running the game very well. I expect to see a very balanced offensive attack from the Packers tonight.
What do you make of the total? You think we're going to see some points tonight?
That's the way I'm leaning in this one. You know, typically these Thursday night high scoring games don't go under the total or don't go over the total that much, but this feels a little different to me. This feels like a situation where the Lions are going to have to score to be in this game. With as maligned as this defense is right now, with the players missing, I have a hard time seeing Green Bay not get into probably the mid to high 20s range at the least, and that means Detroit's going to have to answer. Now, historically, went back and looked at their recent games at Ford Field in the last few years, and their last 28 games have produced 54.6 points per game. The Lions scoring 32.3 of those. So they are known for playing some high-scoring games here in Detroit, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this one get up and over.
And you can tell me if you agree or not, but in my opinion, too, we can't dismiss the fact that while it's a Thursday night game, both teams got a full week of rest. So, I mean, I think that would also give you more reason to bet the over.
Yeah, completely different situation than normal. In fact, when I looked at the trends for the Thursday night games, you had to sort of take them with a grain of salt here because it is a little different circumstance.
By the way, Steve is a big systems guy. I mean, if you go to vsin.com and you see his articles, and it's not just football. I follow a lot of stuff in baseball. I love the bullpen stuff you throw out there as well, but a lot of systems, right? You're a system better, or is it just something where you want to post the systems?
No, I'm a big time systems better. So what I'm posting, I'm playing most of the time. Now, unfortunately, when you get into an NFL situation where you get two competitive teams in a line where you think it looks maybe kind of where it should be, you get angles going both ways. So you have to kind of be careful. Now, one of the reasons I stayed off of the side for this game and kind of give an example for your listeners as to the types of systems that I post, I have a system in play for tonight that says NFL Streaks betting system number 15. NFL teams playing at home on Thursday after winning at least their last four games outright have kept the momentum going with a 15-1 straight up and 12-4 against the spread record in their last 16 tries. So I look at that, and even though it's maybe a little different type of situation for a Thursday than most weeks because of that week off, you still have a situation where it's a high-profile game, a hot team playing on its home field. So kind of shied me away a little bit from laying or taking the points with Green Bay tonight.
We're going to be talking, for this show. Zargo and I will get back into the game in a little bit, but I just find it fascinating talking about systems betting because we have a lot of people that are signing up here that really are just trying to get into to live betting, trying to get into pre-flop betting as well. So talk to me here. How'd you get into system betting? Because two of the best bettors I know, and first of all, you're a terrific bettor. Two other guys I know that are just straight up systems bettors crush it. And the people that just look at the numbers, dig in, well, DVOA, this, they look at it and they go, what's going on with these systems? How'd you get to be a systems bettor?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, for the NFL, I think I would say all of the pro sports and maybe a little bit to the college side, the ratings, the power ratings, the strength ratings, that kind of, they aren't enough because they're popular opinion. Everybody kind of knows these things. Obviously, you look at a game like Green Bay and Detroit, and the first thing you look at is the records: 11-1, 9-3. You figure the better records playing at home, you're probably looking at a 4 to 4-point line. Now, what are the things, other motivational factors that are affecting a spread like that? Now, is the team hot? Are they coming off a bad scheduling situation? These are the types of things I think make the difference in winning and losing NFL bets.
All right, so I did want to ask you about one game this weekend that I know you dug into, and that's going to be the Jets in Miami, right? So every single week, sharp money coming in on the Jets. Every single week, the Jets have just continued to disappoint, Steve. Talk to me here. What's going on with the Jets and the Dolphins?
Yeah, to be perfectly honest here, you look at the season the Jets have had, they've been favored in all of their last 6 games, despite what has been obviously major struggles. They're 3-9. They've been favored in 9 of their 12 games. Obviously, it's not hard to see why they're 3-9 against the spread. So odds makers have been giving them the benefit of the doubt this entire season. I think it's completely flipped around this week. So why is Miami a 5.5-point favorite here? I'm looking at this game and why did this turn so much here? Miami hasn't turned any corner. I think last week kind of proved that when they went to Green Bay and they couldn't handle the weather. They're just not a strong, I think, physical or mental team at this point. And for them to be a 5.5-point favorite here, I think it's the first time that the Jets are actually positioned in a place where they can probably cover a game somewhat easily.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll find out with that one. Steve, why don't you plug what you're doing over there at VSIN? I really appreciate the time with you hanging out with us too. Great info.
Yeah, thanks. I'm actually the director of analytics at VSIN, and I think you did a nice job for me just before talking about the systems and other things that I contribute a lot to at VSIN. Now, I think what's become the most popular with what I do is what I call our analytics reports. They're a report that's basically daily for the daily sports, weekly for the weekly, the football, college and pro football. I break down that week's or day's games in a variety of ways, from using my power ratings and strength ratings to all the systems and trends that I have in my database, and then a few other things that maybe handicappers don't have the time to dig into themselves to find. And I think not only does it save you the time, but it gets you thinking in maybe a little bit more of a, if you want to call it, professional better type of way. So they can aid bettors in a number of ways, and the best way to get them is to become a pro subscriber at VSIN.
All right. It's awesome to talk with you, Steve. Thanks so much for the time. You take care of yourself, and I'll keep reading the articles every single week. You take care.
I appreciate that. Have a good rest of the show.
Very good. Director of Analytics over there at VSIN, Steve Makinen, joining us, giving us some thoughts on Thursday Night Football tonight with the Lions and the Packers. Zargo, we just listened to Steve break that game down. I want to get the breakdown from you. Now, I'm not going to give away any free plays that Keg just posted in the Discord, and I know Maddie had one too. If you're watching, you want to give away your play for tonight, by all means, go and do so. But welcome in Thursday Night Thoughts. Like button would be great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. If you're watching on X, come on over to YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed already, just do so. Subscribe, Nuke the House channel, and turn on your notifications so you know when we're on tonight at 8:10 Eastern live betting. This really good Thursday Night Football game, Zargo. Talk to me here. I'm excited. I'm kind of seeing a lot of points tonight as well. I think the Packers can hang in. The Packers are playing some great football right now. Jordan Love holding on to the football. I don't know if you saw Jaden Reed's prop going up almost 20 points.
Wow.
Since it dropped. I think it opened in the mid 40s. It's up in the upper 60s now, but now let's get your thoughts. Finally, I'm done talking.
Yeah, no, all good. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for this one. 51.5, man, that's a crazy total. That's a high total for any game. Crazy for a Thursday night game. We obviously already touched, though, that this doesn't have the usual hang-ups that you would on a Thursday night. If both teams have had a full week of rest. Both teams kind of have mid-tier pass defenses. And, I mean, these are two quarterbacks that can sling it. So I really do think points are going to be bountiful tonight. And I really like the QB passing props. I do have the concern of, Green Bay's offense, right? I mean, Josh Jacobs has just been a monster of late. And
right.
if they can't contain him, I don't know why you wouldn't just continue to hand it off to him like they've been doing and been extremely successful with. So, something to keep in mind there, something to look out for. Maybe, do some live bet and check in with Kay, see how he thinks that's going as the game gets started. Either way, though, I think we're going to see plenty of points here. 51.5 is a lot, but if I got to make a pick, I got to go with the over. As far as the side, though, man, I mean, Detroit, they're beat up each week. I mean, they're the past 3 weeks, their losses have been, or their wins have been by a smaller and smaller margin. Losing they just blew that lead to Chicago and almost blew the whole game. So I just think they're due for a loss, really. Divisional games are always hard. And I just don't think they are quite as good as an 11-1 record would indicate. They're a strong team, but I think Green Bay's right there with them if we're talking best teams in the NFC. I think Detroit, it served them well to take another loss or two before the playoffs, just because it never seems to go well in the playoffs for teams with, one loss or two losses. So I think, it could just be the injuries or it could be an awakening for Detroit, but I expect the Packers to win outright. But I love the 3.5, and that'd be my official play.
All right, very good
with the points.
So we got that one. Just some other things that I want to throw out there. Jordan Love, 5-1 TD to interception ratio over the last 3 games. And guess what? Packers have won all 3 games since they got beaten up by Detroit. You look at that game against Detroit the first time around, 24-14. It was a blowout. It was 24-3. Love got some garbage time points in that one, so that'll have to be a little different. Packers run defense playing really well, held the Niners and the Dolphins under 50 yards rushing. I just think this is going to be a different type of matchup. Now, CMC had just come back, I believe, for the Niners. And then the Dolphins run game really hasn't gotten going. It's more Achane, making explosive plays out of the backfield, catching balls, not racking up big numbers. But for me tonight, it's just tough not to back these Lions running backs again. Like, how is Green Bay going to stop them, Zargo? I just don't see it, even though they're playing really well on that side of the ball.
They're 8th in the league, allowing an average of 106 yards per game on the ground. Mm-hmm. I just think Detroit will be smart to go to the air because their Green Bay's rush defense is so much stronger. But yeah, both teams have top tier running backs, and no one's going to be surprised if either or both those backs have 100 yards by the end of the game.
Just so you know, Jair Alexander's out, cornerback for the Packers. Romeo Doubs is out, so Reed should get more work. Watson should get more work. Wicks should get more work. Maybe Kraft gets more work. There's a lot of options that people really don't know about, but it's a very young receiving core for the Packers, and a fairly young quarterback still. He's young as far as experience. He's been in the league for what, 4 years now, 5 years for Love. So again, your best bet here is to back who?
Green Bay with the points.
Right.
And I did. I mean, you're kind of talking about it. I just think it's all the more reason though to hammer the over all these injuries. Is you don't know who's going to get the surplus of usage as both defenses have issues injury wise. So I mean, yeah, I'm liking. The more I think about it, the more I really do like that over too.
All right. So we're going to get into a couple of Sunday games too. Zargo wants to talk about Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Atlanta, Minnesota as well. Why don't you drop your best bets in the chat if you'd like? And if you're interested in signing up for Nuke the House, we got a couple ways to go. First of all, you can sign up $59.99. What do you get? $59.99 a month. Well, if you tail this on Monday, you probably paid for the full year. I mean, even if you're a $10 better, you probably ended up pretty good, at least paying for a month, 2 months here. But $59.99, you're going to get all the pre-flop plays from Keg and the boys. You are going to get in-game plays during our live shows behind the paywall, 1 and 4 o'clock games on Sunday. You get MMA plays. You get NHL from Zargo. You get NBA from Fox. We got college basketball plays as well. Last night, God, was it 10 units we had on our show last night? Fox just posted that somewhere. But our live NBA NHL show last night was up almost 10 units.
Yeah.
So just the live shows are smashing here. I know Trap God is with you, Green Bay plus 3.5, and then he's got Love over passing yards. Onyx is going with Green Bay. Yunko, he's complaining about Steve's mic. That'll be fine. And then what's the horseshoe hammer? I don't know. It's a good question. So let's get into this next one. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. You want to have a bet on this one, Zargo. Pittsburgh minus 6.5. 43.5 is the total. After Pittsburgh in Cleveland, that game was all snow in the first game. It was nasty. You got Jameis just praying to God that he stops it with the pick sixes already. He can't handle it anymore. Greatest quote of this season, at least. What are you thinking? Are you backing the Steelers? You backing the Browns? Or are you going total?
Yeah, no. I mean, I 2 weeks ago I stood on the table for Cleveland. I said they got a real chance to win that game outright, but I thought a cover was imminent. And it was. I mean, it was just a perfect spot for them. Just a lot of circumstances going that game just made it a real easy spot. There's no way, though, they pull that off. Again, I think this is a great spot for Pittsburgh. They know what they're going up against. There's no way Tomlin is going to fall twice to this Cleveland team. Pittsburgh, I mean, at 9-3, they really got to think about playoff seeding here. So they're in a spot where every win matters, and they can't afford to lose to a Cleveland team. I don't expect this game to be close, so I got no problem laying the points. As far as the total, though, it is a really interesting number at 43.5, because we had like 43 in the last game, with 27 of those points coming in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was 10-6 going into the fourth, and then the points just exploded. You can talk about the weather, right? It did start to snow in that game. Points actually increased, though, when that happened. So I would lean towards the over, but I just wouldn't get too – if you're going to make that bet it because, Pittsburgh has an incredible offense, and Jameis is going to be slinging it. So hopefully they can get the points up there, but I wouldn't bet it purely based off of what we saw the last time these two teams played. Certainly would be smart to look at some interception props in this game as well.
Yeah, I almost want to do I like betting interceptions in game because we're getting better numbers, but I almost feel like every week just throw a parlay together. We do TD parlays all the time. Why don't we do some interception parlays at this point? Like Winston is going to throw one. Levis is going to throw one. I don't know if Cousins is going to throw one this week. We'll talk about that.
Rodgers probably will.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Maybe Rodgers. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. Like every week there's just certain guys that we could target to throw an interception. I think the first two easy guys would be Levis and Jameis.
Yeah.
These guys are just layups. They're going to throw the interception, maybe even a Geno interception. But if we were to throw like three together for somebody who was going to throw an interception this week, I don't know who the third one be, but Levis and Jameis are going to be the anchors of that three-way parlay.
Yeah, I mean, Jameis is minus 200. Will Levis is only minus 125. So, I mean, you're probably looking at better than plus money. I mean,
Hey, Chad.
Even.
I'm going to throw a 3-leg parlay, a little same game, or not a same game. I'm going to throw a little 3-leg parlay together. Who's the other quarterback I should include? So we got Levis INT. I'm going to throw a Jameis INT in there. Who's the third guy that I should throw in there? And the guy you want to put there is Cousins. Is that what you said?
I said Rodgers. I'm not officially. That was just a suggestion.
Rodgers such a mess. He's such a disaster. Well, speaking of Cousins, Zargo, let's get into Cousins because I know you had some pretty strong thoughts in your article today. Go to nukethehouse.com, click on NFL, then click on articles. You'll see Week 14 NFL free bets and predictions. Kirk Cousins revenge game, 1:00. Falcons going to Minnesota. You like the Falcons in this game?
I do. I typically hate betting on NFC South teams, but I just really like this spot. You're getting so many points. Money line is a great option here. Tyler and I have been talking about it for weeks, how fraudulent this Minnesota team is. I don't know why. It's also always Minnesota. Like, how many times in recent years has Minnesota been the fraudulent team with a record that's just way better than you'd expect from a team of this caliber? You can't knock them for winning, but they're just not that good. And eventually things are going to fall for them. And with Kirk Cousins going into his old trap, I just think it's a perfect spot. Atlanta, they're a solid team. They just got consistency problems. I definitely think they could be a team to watch out for next season if they can figure it together. Don't know how much life Kirk Cousins has left in that arm, but if he puts together another good year, I mean, I think they're going to be a really good team next season. Atlanta's just suffered some bad losses recently. An impressive 4-point loss to the Chargers on Sunday, and I just think they're in a prime spot to take down Minnesota. And there's just no way that if Minnesota does win, it'll be by a touchdown. I don't see it happening.
All right, cool. Very good. Zargo, again, you and I are going to work again next Wednesday, right? We'll work again next Wednesday. We'll do our NBA, NHL, college basketball show. We're going to throw college basketball in there as well. Fox said we were up 7 units in college basketball and NBA last night. We were up with you too.
I went 5-1 or 4-1 in NHL picks last night.
So we were up at least 3 units again. So that's what I thought. 10. We had about 10 units on that show last night. All of our live shows are profitable. We're not going to win every single game, or every single show, but we're going to be profitable. Check us out tonight. If you haven't already checked out one of our live shows, 8:10 Eastern time, make us your second screen experience. Have us on in the back. You'll see our plays. You'll hear our plays. And once you're a subscriber, all you have to do is turn on your notifications. You go to our Discord and we send the live notifications right to your phone. So Keg makes a bet. He's like, all right, Gibbs, 125 yards. We're going to go bet that. And you will get it right to your phone, the book, the number, the actual bet. And it's very simple. So again, come check us out, nukethehouse.com.
He's got it. Unuku in the chat. Mac Jones.
Yunko.
Mac Jones.
That is our other guy?
A great, because he's starting in Jacksonville since Lawrence is out.
Yeah.
Tremendous option for
So let me put this thing together, okay?
I'm in DK, and right now we don't have player props.
Oh, we don't have the interceptions?
Yeah, I'm going to check. I'll check FanDuel real quick if you want to.
Because I really want to bet it. And I think it was only, and I can't bet it's Bet365, but you can bet 2 interceptions for Jameis Winston.
Yes, if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you wanted to bet that. So, you know what? Let me go through this because I don't know where they've really laid the interception props down at this point. But again, it just seems, I'm not seeing anything. It just seems too simple to put those 3 guys in there. I mean,
MGM's got it.
MGM's got it. So you can throw it together for me?
I think so.
Oh, let's do it. I want to see what we're getting. Bet MGM. So we're going to throw a 3-way parlay. The reason I say this, because I don't think you need to I don't need to go into Jameis Winston interceptions. Like, we all know this dude throws pick sixes, interceptions left and right. I think it was 3 the other night, right? 2 pick sixes. So you've got that. We have Levis, who has, he's only thrown 2 in his last 4 games, and he has held on to the ball a little bit better. But again, this is not someone that I would trust to keep a hold on the ball. The only thing with Levis, though, is that he's facing Jacksonville. So I might want to tweak that a little bit, and I like the Mac Jones call.
So just Winston and Levis, that's plus 161.
Ooh, okay. And then, and listen, Mac Jones really hadn't.
Yes.
Well,
he's thrown interceptions in the 2 games he's played.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's played a full game either.
I just don't know if I can throw the Levis thing in there because that was off the tip of my tongue, and then I'm looking at it. It's Jacksonville. Maybe he keeps on with it a little bit more.
Plus 475 for those 3 guys.
Oh man. I have to do one of these. I'll talk to you a little bit more. I'll talk to some other guys at the shop, but we got to throw a little interception parlay in there and make it our thing. All right. So again, like button on the way out, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. And don't forget 8:10 tonight, 8:10 Eastern time. We'll be live betting. Keg, myself, Iowa will probably stop by. We'll live bet tonight's game, Packers at the Lions. And then our next NFL show after that will be Nuke the Props. Nuke the Props, my prop show on Friday. So that is back tomorrow. Jameson Williams is going to be in there. Nick Westbrook Akine is already in there. So 2 of my plays have dropped just for myself, although they are for recreational purposes only. It's a little bit dangerous to bet my bets. There's no doubt about that. But go bet Zargo's bets and Fox and Keg and Coop and Maddie and the rest of the boys and Spread, who coming up at 5 today. So it's about 35 minutes from right now. Has the NBA rundown where Monday through Friday he goes through the games that he's going to bet. He gives you the bets, he runs it down, and then he's out. So that's our next show, 5 o'clock Eastern NBA rundown, live show tonight during Thursday Night Football. Zargo, you're awesome. Thanks to Steve Makinen from VSIN. We are going to have a good show tonight. Keg is locked in. Keg, you finally turned a corner. I'm happy for you. Let's go Nuke the House.